Welcome to the Tunde Learning Your podcast. We continue with this program, our program, The Nigerian Theatre Witnesses to History. And our guest is still the Chief Dr. YEMI FAROUNBI, veteran theatre artist, broadcaster, administrator, producer, critic. And today, as we say in the cliche, training is all. He re-emphasizes that training and retraining and training and retraining are important if we want to continue to have the best from the industry, so that the industry can serve Nigeria and bring a lot of revenue to the country and create a lot of jobs for those younger Nigerians who are interested in making a career from that sector. Chief FAROUNBI.
100 dreamer houses as well. Nakola Payne had a concept. Unfortunately, he couldn't implement it until he died. He thought that every major city must have a cinema house. Now even the smaller ones should have. So you don't have to go around and hiring schools and hotels and all of that. But it needed a partnership government to do it. So if we have that, it will encourage the film producers. They won't have to be dependent on marketers based in the north or whatever. And because all of these are indigenous to Yoruba, so I thought the 6-8 Yoruba speaking ought to look at it, thought to network people, put funds together that will fund this. You know, you suddenly found that the Yoruba films were not technically as excellent as the Yoruba films. For anyone is fund. But you found that most of the Yoruba films were taking the Yoruba stories.
Yes, largely.
So, if you have the stories, then somebody ought to provide you for to have the technical expertise, the technical equipment, the decor that you need.
Maybe I should also ask this question now, and that is, because you also talked about government creating partnerships and things, and I was just wondering if government cannot, because I remember when Ondo State was 1 year old, we went to do a performance in Akure for the state. I remember states where we went, they wanted to do things, they invited us to come and make presentations, do premieres for them and things like that. Perhaps put something, like you said, Arts Council funds that can encourage, even our Arts Councils are not responsive in terms of producing meaningful products that could even go into, because the British Council still produces things,
Of course.
but we are not producing things that can even be taken into the distribution network, or that can be showed by. Why are the governors not listening to professionals and creating some fund? If it can do only 2 or 3, at least we will still have something that is encouraging people to keep at it and know that something will come for a couple of people in the course of the year, that they can produce content that can go into the marketing chain. What do you think, sir?
You are very right. We need a sinking fund. They can vote a huge fund and put it there. Or if they cannot, they can start and every year add more to it, put it in their budget. And I'm going to talk about Governor Bulumi now, and Adebisi Adeshola, and architect Lai Balogun.
Okay.
That's a unique thing.
Mm.
After I finished the railway on BCOS,
Yeah.
after the showing, then took it to other states and this. So I told BC Adeshola, we could make a film. I don't have money.
Mm.
He said, he doesn't have money. I mean, okay, this is not something we can have the ability to sponsor. Why don't you tell the government? So he said there is an economic advisory council headed by Library.
Yes.
So he went and explained to me. Now make it a revolving fund. You put the money there, enough to do maybe 5, 6 films in a year. They do it, they plow back the money, it goes on like that. Maybe because Lev Balug is an architect, creative, innovative, he bought it to him. They took it to Governor Oluni, and he agreed. And he gave some money to BCOS.
What year was that?
This
That was
was
85?
no,
84? No, 85, 86 or something, 87.
it was 85.
But 85, when the ruling was government.
Governor, yeah. So he gave the money, and that's the story of our dad.
Oh, okay. They follow up to Arelu.
Of course, we did the production. And then we ran into the politics within the artists. If it was not only politics, sometimes it can be disastrous.
Yeah.
I remember the day we wanted to start shooting at Bahrain, and we chose the beautiful Ocean Blue to do it. Bright sunshine, 1 o'clock. You know all those drama we do.
Yes.
Silence in the studio. Oh, tape rolling.
Sound.
Sound rolling.
Up sound.
As soon as they were direct, quality with the director, said action. To the client, they had to be scrambling so that the equipment
Will not be destroyed.
Artists.
It happened to me too. 86. After Arelu and Agbari, I was supposed to produce a follow-up. And we were recording on the Akoro Road. 2 days. We couldn't record. It was raining so heavily. So heavily. Each time we wanted to start, it would begin to rain. And then, sorry to cut into what you're saying.
It's important because it is part of
2 days later, an artist came to join us there. And he said, we were at the cultural center and were sending rain. And I looked at, most of the artists have died now. One that we called Ogun, I think he died last year.
Last year.
He was one of the lead actors in the... And I was looking at them. How would you say you are sending rain? And somebody was standing on a chair, also saying that he was sending the rain outside of him. But it rained just as we said about Agbari. We started packing up. Each time we wanted to start again, we couldn't do it.
And I identified the artist, and I went to him.
Mm-hmm.
So if I see you in this location, I'll get you arrested. So because you caused it. We became friends later on, where he apologized. You see, he wanted a role.
A role. And they gave it to somebody else.
And it wasn't the role I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So we gave it to somebody else. So he got angry. So he sent it. There was also another incident.
So beyond theater, there was also a spiritual angle to it.
Yeah.
To production, to marketing.
Terrible. I had a scene in Agbari where you have to wash the head, you know, in Yoruba of Rishabuni into the river.
Yes.
They were singing the song. And from nowhere, the flood came.
Oh,
Almost carried the camera, the shadow, and everybody was left. The only thing that saved me was that because I need a crowd anyway, so all the women in the group, I included them in the cast. You know, the crowd sing, and they were being paid. They were the ones who helped me. I don't know what they said. They said a few things before
the flood receded
without rain.
without rain.
As a matter of fact, what drove me away? We have not done that production for a long time. What that? Incident like that. Because they see when you make this production, this artist becomes so important. And I had one belief. I don't believe in names. I believe in what you do.
The talent. What's on show?
In fact, Peter Patomilola, Lady Adewale, and Kola, I want to give them out that effect. Come and do production. I don't want to use these people again.
Yes.
All these great things you are doing in Ife, can you come and
let's see it.
And get me some of your students?
And
they got angry with me. And they brought a hen in front of my office. With Monturu around it. I said, you. I just took the hen and I ate it. And I said to myself, if you're not careful, one day will hold you down.
Yes.
And we're not getting the best.
Yes.
But the beauty of it was that it took my mind and attention away from the traditional theater.
And those people.
Yeah, then I went to the institute at Ife.
Yes.
Then, of course, the School of Drama here. There was one in Lagos.
Yes.
And I was using that.
Okay.
The beauty of it, of course, is that one now, I can write my script.
That's right.
When we were doing Abani, it was scripted.
Yeah.
And they said no.
Actually, that's part of the problem with the indigenous theater groups. They don't want to script.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to document and keep the thing and repeat the drama when the initial owners are no longer around, because there is no script to follow.
And then more difficult is it for you to edit. Because what they say when you take one shot is different from
what is in the other shot.
So you begin to have problems. I said, no, you don't. And then they reported against Palliative. I said, you are not going to. And I said, if you don't want the script, you're out of mind.
We were talking about the we call it challenges within the Yoruba theater groups and their contention that could be problematic for producers, directors, because particularly they didn't want to be scripted. They wanted the freedom of saying whatever they liked. And with the length of years that theater has known, particularly in the western part of Nigeria, why do you think this has not been surmounted?
I think basically the problem started.
And perhaps maybe I should also personalize it to you. Yeah. What efforts did you make to surmount those things? When?
I think it has to do the way theater started. It was largely staged. So no long shot, no medium shot, nothing. No panning camera, nothing. So you are not taking any shot twice. So they were free to say what they wanted to say.
And then they just wandered onto sets and said whatever they needed to say and they were out.
Next show, they will remember some of the what they've said. when we now came into television or film, and we started the cinematic approach using one camera, taking many angles of the same shot, then it became important that the words.
They must be consistent. You need to have
Otherwise, you're going to have
consistency.
problem with editing.
Yes.
Absolutely impossible to edit. So, and I said, going to script. And I insisted. There was no production I did. There was no script.
So you insisted on scripting
On scripting,
all
and
your...
I had a rebellion on my hand. And they said, no. The very first one, Adebayo Faleti wrote it. And they said, you are not going to do it. That then just tell us what we will do in that place, we will do it.
Explain it to us.
And I said, no. You had, the dialogue has to be a constant. Otherwise, we're out of place. And they were...
You were firm about that?
Very firm. What broke them was one woman. They called the woman Yailewu, completely literate. I was very, very low. I said, oh, mommy, wakasi, ibi tó bá jẹ́ tèmi wakasi.
Oh, she said that?
She said that. So the other ones were stopped. Because they can even read. Some of them could read, but this one cannot.
Yeah.
So I read it to her. I said, read it again. By the time I read it the third time, the woman repeated it.
Wow.
So I said, no problem, Mama. I will expand.
So she could assimilate what you read to her and read.
And repeated it. So we decided to expand her room. So that those who don't want to, so they came. Yeah. Then I now realized that it might be difficult to keep on dealing with these people, particularly if they will begin to chase one another because of competition to get a role and they go dastardly spiritual. So I thought it was better to begin to look for the educated who also spoke
Yoruba language.
So one of my productions, so I decided to go to Ife, brought Laide Adewale is now there, Peter Patominola, and
Kola Oyewo, Jimo, and the rest of them.
So can you give me some of your students? And we came to you, I got some, then went to Unilai. I think it was Other School of Oriental something.
School of Drama and Oriental Studies.
And so we started. Of course, these were trained. They knew we had to have scripts. They knew the value of depth of focus, depth of feed, medium shot, and all of that. So they understood what we were doing and why we had to insist on script. And of course, I know even now, they still resist.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Even now in productions, you still find people still insisted they were not going to follow.
And it's not strange, because one presenter once told me that he's been presenting on radio for 10 years, he has never written a script.
No.
It will tell you how much deterioration had gone into it. When a presenter
Would say that.
would say, and publicly in a gathering, what's all this talk? I've been in this job for 10 years, I have no script. I say I've done it for 54 years. I will use
script. You are touching a very, very important point for the industry. And that is the veering away of what is known worldwide as the professional thing to do.
Yes.
To do what is not professional and think you can bask in proclaiming that as what is correct.
That is the truth today, that there are very, very, very few stations. Many of the radio stations are where they insist that their presenters, or what they call themselves, they are on-air personalities, must have a script. You know, in our days, not only you do the script,
yes,
you clear it with your
with
boss.
your boss.
What you call the reference upload.
Yes.
Not
until that is done, until your record log is approved,
yeah,
you can't even play them.
Nobody does that. And the reason is because those who ought to be in training are the managers.
Yes.
Those who have not been trained are the managers. Is the reason now that a lot of the programs on radio are just repetitive rubbish. The presenter comes on, he spends the first 5 minutes eulogizing himself, recanting what his forefathers had done.
And telling people, you must join us, you must call us.
After you've done that, he says that our topic for today is this. In the meantime, he has not researched it. He has done no homework, he has no script.
So there's no depth to
what
is being presented. What
so
people are being asked to come and discuss.
Now says, our studio line will soon be open. You know the numbers. In case you don't, then he recounts the number, he opens the line. And there are professional callers.
Yeah.
They call on every program, and you hear them calling other stations too. And they be debating what they themselves don't understand, what are not being presented, available for the public to understand.
In fact, I think it's worse, because I've heard people calling stations and saying, what are you discussing today?
Yes, it does happen.
That's somebody who's supposed to be contributing.
So he has not even listened.
He didn't listen.
Or you just say, just calling to pray for you.
What are the further thoughts of Chief Dr. YEMI FAROUNBI on the way forward for the broadcasting, film and theatre industry in Nigeria? That it continues to be competitive and relevant for the purpose of Nigeria. Join us next week as we continue to follow Dr. YEMI FAROUNBI as he recalls his involvement in various areas of the Nigerian theatre industry and film.